Okay, folks, hopefully you can see me. Can somebody just confirm that they can hear and see me? That would be great. Sorry about the problem with the software. Excellent, excellent. Okay, good. Little bit of a technical glitch there. Best laid plans of mice and men, as they say. Everything was set up, ready to go. Thanks for the confirmations, everybody. Came through and pressed start, and the computer hung. So yeah, sometimes this kind of thing can happen. Anyway, thank you all for being here. We have people from Los Angeles, Florida, the Caribbean, Sweden, and plenty in the UK, of course, and maybe somebody from India. I'm not sure if they're watching live. I think the last count I had, there were about 35, somewhere between 34 and 36 of us. So not all of us will be live watching, but a lot will be watching on replay, I think. But anyway, I'm really glad that the program has started. Some of you have been going for a week now. Some of you just started. It doesn't really matter. We're just following the 28 days, and whenever you've started, I'll be sort of continuing to, work with you, monitor and support the process throughout. I think a few of you have been on the forum, and if you if that's the case, there's a few insights on there. Just going to respond to questions from Andrea. I was messing about with the sound and voice earlier, Andrea, and I'd got it completely in sync, but it seems to vary each time I stream. So I think you'll just have to kind of stick with that. I'm not sure why it moves each time I stream, but I check it each time before I stream. But because I've restarted this time, I didn't do that for speed. So hopefully just go with what you're hearing and seeing, and try not to sort of worry too much about that. It's a technical issue to do with the speed of processing between the picture and the sound, and there's a setting in the software that I use which I check each time, but it can vary from time to time, and that's obviously what's happened on the restart. Anyway, so yeah, we have a question. I asked for a question if anybody, whilst we were just waiting, and Andrea posted one. So I'm just going to look at it on my phone just to remind myself what she'd said, just so that I can kind of get it fairly accurately. So yeah, what she said was, why is the silence one of the noisiest times in my head, and what is worth giving attention? I'm assuming there when you're talking about starting the meditation, Andrea, if you just want to confirm that, but I think that's what you mean. And then goes on to add, sometimes it is what I would call monkey chatter, but then in the midst of the chatter there is a great idea or a moment of clarity. And then further adds, so it appears I am not aiming for the silence, but to be in tune with my real self and what is important at this moment. So there's a few things there. You see, we're so used to and so conditioned into being... Yeah, she does mean that, okay. We're so used to and so conditioned to listening to everything that's going on up here, and actually that's where For most people, most of the time, our attention is placed in the noise that's going on in your head. Now, when you make a conscious choice, if you particularly haven't been a regular meditator, but it can be even if you are a regular meditator, you start to notice the instant you start to meditate that actually there's been a lot of noise going on there. It's probably already always been there. You just haven't realized because you haven't tried, or if you say, made the choice to be still. So actually, when you're starting on a meditative journey, noticing or observing that actually there's an awful lot of traffic going on here, there's a lot of thoughts passing and so forth, is one of the first observations you may find yourself making. So this is quite common, and the more that you do meditate, the more the less that's likely to be the case, the quieter and stiller you're going to become. And this is one of the reasons actually for the 28 days, is to use a regular pattern, a regular process over this period that is habit forming, that starts to still you more and actually starts to make you pay attention during the day when you're not specifically sat down or lying down meditating, to actually, not really listen to all that's going on in your head and just be present. So this is a major reason for it, Andrea. This is, you're starting to observe what's actually been going on all the time. Now you go on to say, sometimes amidst the chatter you get a moment of clarity or a great idea. And what's happened there? This is actually happening all the time. The attention, your attention has shifted. You've stepped back from putting energy, attention into the thoughts, which is only going to generate more thoughts. And you've stepped back and you've briefly become the observer. And in that space of the observation, the true presence that I refer to as the infinite silence has now been allowed a space to emerge, and into that space maybe an inspiration, a moment of clarity comes. Now the mistake that you can make at that point is then to start putting loads of attention into that, whatever it is has emerged. And my pointing is, no, don't do that. Just simply observe, even if it's an inspiration, a moment of clarity, or a great idea. Just remain neutral towards it. Just observe even that. Even nice sensations, just simply remain as the observer. And the reason I say that is what that's doing is keeping your attention rested, and I use the word rested advisedly, in and as the silence. And the more that you do that, the more the moments of clarity, the spaces, the silence, the longer they will be, until it becomes completely silent. And the next part is quite important in your question, Andrea. So it appears I'm not aiming for silence, but to be in tune with my real self and what is important at this moment. Well, actually, here's the thing. You are the silence. You, the true you, is what I refer to as the infinite silence, and that's completely non-personal. It's just infinite. It's otherwise known as the infinite or the absolute source, whatever name you want to get it. That is what you are. And one of the things, the key mistakes in self-realization and also the meditative process, is to strive if you like, towards this as a goal, and actually making it a goal pushes it away from you. It's very important to understand that you, the true you, are this already. And when we go into the meditation, what we're doing is consciously choosing to bring our attention, our awareness, back to that silent essence within. And you are already the silence. You are already the silence. And here's another important part to this. It's only the belief, and this is a false belief, by the way, that you're not that absolute essence, that absolute source, that infinite silence. This single belief that you're not that is the fundamental block to the realization of it, the experiential realization of it. All other beliefs which get in the way of self-realization are simple subsets of that one belief. And it's important to stress here, it's not about belief. Truth is an experience, not a belief. So this is why the Buddha and other realized sages over the millennia have said words to this effect. Don't believe a word I say, for truth is an experience, not a belief. So a lot of approaches to meditation make it into a doing, and it's not a doing. It's an allowing. And we use a meditative practice so that it becomes practiceless. It's like a bridge into that which we already are. A kind of apparent stepping stone, and the word apparent there is key. What we're doing, and when I guide you into the meditation in a little while, I'll be using what appears to be some steps to shift your attention back to its resting place so that you merge with and become the silence. And actually that is the whole essence of the infinite silence meditation. So I'll just say something a little bit about that now. You'll notice, for those of you who have used the meditation videos, I take what appear to be a few steps. One, I first ask you to bring your attention to your body. That's just a shift back from it being totally focused up here in your head. Then the next pointing is to open up to what I refer to as spheres of light, which is the same as the universal I am presence, the state I am, but nothing after the words I am, to bring your attention at a beingness of the universal nature. For you are this also. In fact, that is what I refer to as the firstborn of the silence. Then as your attention is resting on the I amness, the beingness, it can only do that, as subtle as it may be to you at first, this beingness, because there's something higher, a higher awareness that's watching or witnessing the beingness, the I amness, the spheres of light energy. And guess what that is? That is the infinite silence. Only the infinite silence can do that. And you're that. So that's why the infinite silence meditation goes that way. And as we allow our attention to, shall we say, drop back into that core, there may still be activity going on in the body, in head, but now you're becoming the observer. And the more that you rest as the observer, what you'll notice is a stilling, a relaxation response, and there'll be a quietening down. And the more that you do this as a practice, the more it becomes practiceless. It's almost like you're reprogramming yourself to have your attention rested there always. And the realization of the self, the true non-personal infinite self, is the experiential knowing that actually that's what you are. And this will flower and blossom when the time is ripe in this form that you have. So this question has led us right to the core of the issue. So thanks for that, Andrea, and I hope that kind of covers it for you. It might be worth, excuse me, listening to this a couple of times, because what I've just shared is fundamentally important to the whole process. And this 28-day invitation, if you like, is really about allowing that attention to start to shift, to start to deepen, and to rest there. So I've just described to you, as looking through the eyes of this form that's called Philip, yes, there is a form here, there is a body here, it has the name of Philip, but it is like it is seen as a vehicle of the true self, the silence, the essence, the knowing of that silence experientially is the constant awareness. Like this. I can see your namaste, Andrea, so that sounds like it's covered it for you. So yeah, important question. Fundamentally important in its response as well. So good. So I think we're going to move reasonably quickly now to perhaps a meditation where we're all together. But I was just going to mention one other thing that was in my awareness before, and it's still there now. You know, sometimes you may get from ego mind, oh, I haven't got time today, or I don't feel like doing it today, or whatever. This one you can't trust. If it's coming from here as a thought, not to be trusted. You know, if it's like, oh, not time, don't feel like it, then this is not your truth. The qualities of the heart space are uplifting, inviting, joyous, a light, joy. The qualities of ego mind are must, could, should, you shouldn't be doing this, I should be doing this activity instead, this is more important, and so forth. In truth, there is nothing more important than the realization of who you really are. Now, clearly, if the house is burning down, it's probably a good idea to get out, but the fact of the matter is, most of the time, there isn't that degree of urgency. There's an old Zen saying, I think it is, you know, if you've got a busy day ahead, meditate for an hour. If you've got a really busy day, do it for 2 hours. And the reason it's said like that is because, you know, actually, as you get in touch with the inner essence, you start to realize what's truly important ego mind will have you believe all sorts of things are important, when actually the experiential realization that allowing time for that inner space is fundamentally important and will transform you from within, transform you back to that which you already are. So if anybody's had any struggles with that, just reflect upon that. Just reflect upon that. The other thing I was going to say, I just touched on it briefly before, on the forum I've been posting daily little inspirations, just one-liners, just to kind of encourage you. I put one on there each day. One or two people have shared some experiences there. There's, I think, in that section, but also in the insights questions bit. So, you know, I encourage you, if you want to share anything, ask anything, do use that forum as your vehicle. It allows me to kind of put it all in one place and everybody to benefit from one person's question or experience. So yeah, that's for you. Good. Good, good, good. So, unless there's anything burning right now, we'll go to a meditation. So if you want to get yourselves comfortable, whether you're going to sit down or lie down, and simply close your eyes. And as your eyes are closed, just simply, as I was saying, bringing your attention to your body. Just resting your attention, all of it, on the body vehicle. Noticing that actually there is a body here and there's something observing it. And then being wide open from your heart to the experience of spheres of light, the pure, universal I am presence, the state I am, with nothing after the words I am, just the beingness. The aliveness, this essence that is I am. And as your attention rests on this I amness, know now that it can do so because it too is seen, witnessed or observed from the higher essence that is infinite silence. So simply allowing your attention now to rest, deepen into and as this silence. Letting everything else go now. Just simply watching all the phenomena. Trusting, knowing you are the very silence itself. And nothing else matters. Just this. Just the silence. And you are that. Merging, melting into the pure presence of the silence. Always has this essence been here. Always have you been this. This oneness. This isness. Simply all here now. No effort required. Everything is offered up to this. Effortlessly, silently. Released. Deeper and deeper. Melting, merging, becoming the silence. All else being witnessed silently from this pure presence, this divine essence that is eternal, timeless, formless. You, the true you. No goals, just here. In silence, you will realize your truth. In truth, you will realize you are silence, the infinite silence, the isness. Nothing else matters, just this. Trusting. And the trusting becomes the knowing. The awareness. The very presence itself. Simply here. Ever presence. The perfumes of joy, peace, grace, love, gratitude, all emanating silently, freely from this, the very essence itself. Here you are. Now. Always have you been here. Always will you be here. The perfection of the silence. within you, in you, through you, as you. This is home. Eternity. Here. Now. All I truly know is silence. All that I am is isness, is all that am I. The infinite I. The timeless self. Formless essence. Ever presence. Here is where the attention rests and itself becomes the silence. the wholeness, the completeness. That you already are. Truth. Knowingness. Absolute awareness. The unmoved mover. The unseen seer. Here you are. Namaste. 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 So in a moment I will ring the singing bowl 3 times, Good. So just gently bringing yourself back now. Keeping your attention rested in and as the silence, even as you are sat in the chair or lying down, the attention rests there. There may be a greater awareness of the body, but simply the attention is just watching, noticing, silently observing, trusting, knowing. You are this. Just allowing that to rest there. Even when you open your eyes, there's this watcher, this seer, and that is observing everything that is unfolding. This one is you. Normally, right now, I'd put the harp music on, but because we had one or two technical issues tonight, I don't want to just do that just at the mo. So I'll just stay here sat with what I call the open gaze for a little while. Just give everybody an opportunity to ask or share anything. And whilst I'm doing that, just your call coming to from the meditation, I'll just say hello to, because I didn't manage to say hello to people as we came on stream, so I'm just going to go down and see who's here and say hello to you, and then if there's any questions, please just pop them up there. So I know that we have Elizabeth in Florida, Christine in the UK, Ashleisha in the Caribbean, Lynn in Los Angeles, Louis in the UK. Who else have we got? Andrea also in the UK. Leotilda in Sweden. Lorraine, I think in Toronto, or Toronto, I think as you say over there, guys. And Heather, also in the UK, I think. If I've missed anybody, apologies, I've just had a quick scroll down. So welcome to you all, and probably some others who have not necessarily commented, and whether you're there or not, or commented or not, I am with you and you are with us, and I'm very grateful to all of you participating in the challenge, or even if you're not participating in the 28 days and you just happened to be Northern California, Heather, sorry about that. another one in California. I don't know why I thought you were in the UK, never mind. Anyway, yeah, so, and Lois also in the UK. Yeah, thank you for all participating. And we'll just see if there's anything else anybody wants to share whilst we're just sat here, knowing that we're sat here in presence, as the presence. I see you. And just a reminder that meditation, as Elizabeth requested earlier, was dedicated to those that have been experiencing the difficulties associated with Hurricane Michael. And I guess those of you may have seen something about that. So yeah, that peace, that wave of peace, as we touch deeply the essence and truth of who we really are. Not only does this create a transformation within that you perceive to be you in the form, actually it touches the whole planet and indeed the whole universe. The infinite is like that. It is infinite. It is unlimited presence. And you are already this. Already this. Never have you not been this. And if you like, the whole element or key of this invitation for the 28 days is really a response to that calling from within to remember and realize experientially that you are this. For in truth, this is why you are here, not just on this stream now, but in this form on this planet at this time, to realize this experientially. Life's greatest and simplest gift. Greatest because it is infinite, boundless, timeless, formless, eternal, and simplest because the fact of the matter is, and this doesn't require belief, is that you, the true you, the non-personal infinite essence, is already this. This is why you're here. This is why you are here. This is your gift unto yourself. This body that you have is like a facet of a diamond, if you like. You see the beauty of the diamond, if you like, because of the light reflecting off the facets, and yet you're still the whole diamond. We're all that. Yes, indeed, Lois, indeed, truest as well. Looks like we have a few friends who know each other here, so that's good. So I'm gonna just see if we can get the harp to play. If it goes pear-shaped, I'll send a message here, but hopefully it won't, and we'll just have the harp for a few minutes just to see if there's anything anybody else wants to ask or share. And whilst we're doing that, we'll see if there's any other questions. Yes, indeed, Heather, very much like a hologram, a holographic universe. The hologram in its smallest parts contains the whole, no matter how much you divide it. So that's very accurate. So let's just try the harp, see if anything else wants to share. Enjoy the harp, and I'll be back in a few moments, or in a minute or two. Good, so welcome back. I'll put the harp on at the end of the stream as well, but something just came to me there that I felt would be important to say a little bit about. One of the daily inspirations I shared was to do with this. I've just realised I didn't say hello to Lorraine and Debbie, by the way. I think Lorraine's in Toronto. Anyway, I'll come to your question in a moment, Debbie. I mentioned on one of the insights on the forum, it says meditation is like a dance. Let the silence lead. Meditation is like a dance. Let the silence lead. What this is doing is moving you away from the doing approach to the meditation into the allowing, the emergence, the bubbling up, so to speak, into your awareness that you in fact are already the silence. And so you melt in to the dance, you let the silence take the lead, and you realize you are the silence. That simple. Let me just look at your question here, Debbie. My question is around resistance and knowing whether to persist or can it actually be a sign to move on. I might need you to say a little bit more about that, Debbie. Yeah, maybe you could just clarify that a little bit. Just that was so resistance will show up most commonly from the conditioning of ego mind. So let's say, just using a kind of generalized example whilst Debbie's maybe adding some more here. Let's say you've had an inspiration to do something. It's come out of the blue. It's a light, inviting feel to it, a joyous element or energy to it. In that first moment of awareness of it. Later on, ego mind starts to come in and starts to doubt and question and then starts to throw up all sorts of resistances or reasons why you shouldn't do the X, Y, or Z. What this is in this case is on its first awareness, as it popped up as an inspiration from within that had a light, inviting, joyful essence to it, often surprising as well. This one you can trust. The one that's very heavy, should, must, could, striving, pushing, fighting, holding back. This one you can't trust. This one is coming from ego mind. Sometimes as something comes up, thanks for that clarification, Debbie. I'll just finish on this thread first. Sometimes as something comes up as an inspiration, all the blockages to that, pursuing that path, will also present themselves fairly quickly afterwards. Now what these are not blocks to stop you from proceeding forward. They're actually invitations to release the blocks so that you can let it flow. So looking at your more specific comment now, Debbie, as you know, I'm an ideas person, so struggle to know which direction to go. By the way, I'll just put a bit of a plug for Debbie here. Debbie was the one that helped build the website, all the graphics and everything. The overall look and feel of the site is Debbie. So anyway, that's an aside. Yeah, so lots of creativity, which direction to go. So the key for you, Debbie, as an ideas person, is to ask this question in a meditative space. What is in my highest and greatest interest now? What is in my highest and greatest interest now? Of all the possibilities, and there are many, indeed infinite number of possibilities in truth, which one or two of these, particularly which one of these is going to serve the highest and greatest good? And try not to second guess it. There may be, for instance, a bit more resistance to one than the other or whatever. Just be completely open. Or it could even be one that is not in your current conscious awareness. Go into the silence, use the infinite silence meditation with the openness of what serves my highest and greatest good in relation to this now. And then see what emerges. I did a piece on the website about this. Somebody asked a question about that. I'm just trying to remember the name of the insight. Oh gosh. It might even, there is an insight called what is in your highest and greatest good. It might be that, or your highest and greatest good. I'll put it in when I post this, either on Facebook, on the website and elsewhere. I'll see if I can just dig out that one. I give a specific example of that, and one of the persons that that I did that test with live, meditated them, got them to go in. What came to them was something completely different. So anyway, whatever's here, the totality of it, choose the highest and greatest good in terms of the opportunities available. And what is in your highest and greatest good is automatically in everybody else's, by the way. And depending on what it is, some people may not see it that way, but it's important with anything to get total clarity on what serves the highest and greatest good in relation to anything, you know, from the trivial to the sublime. Okay, so I'm going to come on to that next bit in a moment, Debbie. And as you get clarity on what serves your highest and greatest good, the flow of that will create a flow of energy within you that will be inviting, uplifting, joyous, and will open the doorways, so to speak. And part of that is going to involve you clearing the blocks, the energetic blocks to it. So as they come up, don't see those as a challenge, much as I talked about in live stream 11, I think it was, transmuting fear into love. The same principle applies. The blockages come up, witness them. They're not really a block, they're an invitation to release. Now, the one who is indecisive, who could that be? Is that the true you? No. That's ego mind. Kind of, exactly, you've answered the question. So the key thing for you now, having recognized the energy of indecision, use the process in live stream 11, the transmuting fear into love. Get into the meditative space. Absolutely, totally and utterly face the energy of that indecision. Allow it to be there completely. Indecision is a form of fear. Let the energy of that indecision be present and witnessed from the space of the silence. feel it fully, but do not become the indecision. Just simply know and watch that energy there in the body. There may be all sorts of other things that come up. Some of them may be surprising. But witness all of it neutrally without trying to second guess the outcome. As you witness it all the fears, all the questions, just neutrally watching from the silence. All that stuff in Livestream 11. It will pass, it will transform, it will be transmuted, and you'll be left with a space. Then you will have clarity. Does that cover it for you, Debbie? The power of your awareness is limitless, whether it's from the mundane, as I say, to the sublime. Yeah. So always go in everything with what serves the highest and greatest good. Thanks for the question, Debbie. It's like with all questions, they're everybody else's question as well. So I'd put money on it that everybody else would have got some benefit from that question. So thank you for sharing that. Have I missed anything else in terms of the comments? I'm just going to have a quick scroll. Okay, no, it doesn't look like there's anything else burning there. So, namaste everybody. Continue to embrace the 28-day meditation pattern. Next stream, same time, next Friday, 2000 UK time. Whether you're in California, Sweden, Trinidad, Toronto, Moscow, wherever you are, we'll be here. Sorry about the technological problems earlier. It was all set up ready to go and then the computer decided to hang, so there you go. It's one of those things. It's all worked out well in the end. Thank you very much for being here. I shall leave you with the harp and just leave it on for a couple of minutes to see if there's anybody comments anybody wants to make. Blessings and namaste. Wonderful weekend, folks.